Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and there's something that I guess I just forget, that sometimes I just assume everybody's been listening for years. And I wanted to remind everybody of something. I talk about Link2 a lot because they're one of my sponsors. And I've talked about PolySign private equity a lot on here. But I don't know if in a while I've reminded people of what exactly that means, or what the ties between PolySign and Ripple are. And I covered this a lot over the last 4 years. But I want to remind everybody, for those that didn't know this, first of all, it's important to note that this thing was started by some BNY Mellon guys. This Tim Keeney guy was also started by ex-Ripple people and some current. So David Schwartz was one of the founders of PolySign. Antoinette O'Gorman, who was one of the first people at Ripple Labs, she was one of the people that went over to found it. And also Arthur Brito, who created the XRP ledger with David Schwartz and Jed McCaleb and a couple other guys, okay? So, but it's not just that. It's also this. I was talking about this years ago, but I'll just remind everybody. This was an article. BNY Mellon announces crypto custody and SPY's integrated services. The world's biggest custodian bank beats rivals JP Morgan and Citi to the punch. What you have to understand is that BNY Mellon is one of the largest, probably the largest traditional custodian. In other words, when you buy your stocks, they are they hold your stocks in custody. These are the traditional custodians of Wall Street, the largest, okay? So it's a monster thing when these guys are involved with creating PolySign, which already has billions in digital assets. Also, something you may not know or have forgotten, Matthew Mellon, who was an heir to the Mellon fortune, was an early XRP holder. He died, I think of an overdose or something, but he was one of the largest XRP holders early on. And he was an advisor to Ripple back in the day. Most recently an advisor for digital currency company Ripple Labs. I just wanted to hit those points, and you can also see this. Here's me pointing this out. Let's see what else I had. He's vice chairman of PolySign, ex-BNY Mellon. Let me see. I don't know. I haven't even looked at these slides. Yeah. And then there was this guy, original he was a PolySign executive, and then I don't know if he stepped down or what, but he was in the background, James Malgieri. There's all kinds of ties here. This was from a BNY Mellon document back, modernizing payments and collections. Look at this. Opening the door to potential disruptors who promise a better client experience. They were partnered with Ripple, R3 Civ Ripple. This is back, I don't see the date on here. Opportunity to optimize cross-border payments. Anyway, this is stuff we were going over years ago, but I couldn't remember if I had brought this to a lot of your attention recently. Okay, enough of that. The link to that, if you want to go get some PolySign private equity, links in the top of the description. Now, I want to show you this. I've told you about this free ProCoin News newsletter that I'm doing with them, and I had mentioned that it's going to be featuring me some of the time. Well, the first thing they're going to do, and it's coming up, is they're going to feature me. They're going to interview me, and they've asked for questions from you guys out there. And so if you'll go and sign up for the newsletter, I've got it pinned to my Twitter, but I'll also put the link at the top of the description of this video. You just click on the link. It's always going to be a free newsletter. So they'll be putting that interview in the newsletter in the coming week or so. After I haven't done it yet, but we're going to be doing it. Now, before I get going, I want to remind you, I showed this video in one of my last videos, but I forgot to give this guy the proper credit. His name's Clive Thompson, and his YouTube channel is this one right here. It's Manico64. So go give him a subscribe. He does a lot of he talks alternative economics and contrarian views. We like that kind of stuff on here. So go give him a subscribe and watch some of his videos. I was going to go through there and see if I could find some gems because this clip was really good. Okay, and here we go. Here's Janet Yellen at the New York Times Deal Book Summit, and we're going to get to Sam Bankman-Fried, and you won't believe some of these clips.
I have strongly believed and continue to believe, and I think everything we've lived through over the last couple of weeks, but earlier as well, says this is an industry that really needs to have adequate regulation, and it doesn't. We have consistently urged that regulatory...
Right, so in other words, oh yeah, we need more regulation and all this. They're using this to get what they want. Now, John Deaton, let me tell you what, folks, many of you, if you remember the O.J. Simpson trial, Greta Van Susteren was an attorney, just like John Deaton has been an attorney talking. I mean, he's doing more than that, but he's been going on some of these Fox Business shows as like a commentator. If those people at Fox Business are not stupid, John Deaton literally reminds me of what Greta Van Susteren was doing back during the OJ trial, and I wouldn't be a bit, if anybody needs to have a show, it's Eleanor Terrett and John Deaton on Fox Business or one of these. One of these people better figure that out pretty quick. Well, listen to John Deaton. You got to love it when somebody's telling it like it is in the middle of all this BS. I'm going to get to the part where John Deaton's talking. He's on with Charles Payne.
You brought up Bernie Madoff. He was arrested the day after, he confessed. Right. Sam Bankman-Fried has confessed in his Twitter feed and everything else. Charles, I don't know, but there's two things you can do. What I would do is you arrest now. There's enough information under 18 U.S.C. 1343. That's the wire fraud statute. There's enough for the fraud statute. He went around looking like crypto savior, pretending to be crypto savior, and he goes to BlockFi and says, I'll give you this loan, but you have to deposit your client money in my FTX account. And then, of course, he steals that money to run his Ponzi hedge fund. So if I were in charge, I'd have had him arrested, introduce him to a 3x5 cell, remind him of what Russ Albrecht, who did much less with Silk Road, is serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years. I'm hearing more and more about...
Listen to that. That is awesome. Then Charles Gasparino comes out with this scoop. Fox Business has learned JV between IEX and SBF FTX for an SEC-approved crypto exchange had significant progress inside the commission just prior to the FTX implosion. IEX is still pushing the SEC to approve its model without FTX as a partner. So Gary Gensler, you're watching him right now trying to go on a tour to polish his image and act like he's the only guy that spotted this thing and it's complete and utter BS what they're trying to do to polish Gary Gensler's image. Gary Gensler's been attached to so much stupid I can't even count it. Now, this is who Andrew Ross Sorkin should be interviewing, which is guys like this. This is a guy who lost $2 million. Listen to him.
And thank you very much for joining us. It is quite a remarkable moment to think that we are going to see the FTX founder sit down in this interview. This is happening a short time from now. No questions off limits. What would you ask him?
I would ask you, well, why did you do this, right? And what gives you the right to do this? Do you have a plan to get us our money back? Who is on your side? Well, why are you not in jail in the first place? This interview could have also taken place behind bars. There's a lot of questions I would have for the guy there. But we do know that he has an intention to defraud us. He has done a crime. He knows what he was doing. He was using users' fund without permission. I do not expect to get straight answers from an individual like that self.
This is what's interesting here is one of the first, or not necessarily one of the first questions, but this question, I think that they must have been talking to this same guy that lost $2 million. Listen to this question by Andrew Ross Sorkin to Sam Bankman-Fried.
One of the letters I got, I want to read to you, Sam, because it's from a gentleman who said that he lost his life savings. And the subject line is, Sam Bankman-Fried stole $2 million from me. It says, Andrew, can you please ask SBF why he decided to steal my life savings and the $10 billion more from customers to give to his hedge fund, Alameda? Can you ask him why his hedge fund was leveraging long all of these S coins? I'm going to keep it polite for the kids. Please ask him if he thinks what happened was fraud. These are the kinds of letters that I've been getting repeatedly over the past several days. What do you tell this man?
Yeah. I mean, I'm deeply sorry about what happened.
This is a freaking train wreck, folks. Watch, here's another clip.
Just to make a distinction here, you look at the U.S. platform, you look at the international platform. The U.S. platform is a U.S. regulated platform with American users. To my knowledge, that's fully solvent. That's fully funded.
To my knowledge.
You know, I believe that withdrawals could be opened up today and everyone could be made whole from that none of these problems plagued the U.S. platform.
Okay. And listen to Jeremy Hogan here. He says, SBF is getting a light cross-examination at the New York Times Deal Book Summit and has made at least 3 incriminating statements so far. Why are his lawyers or parents letting him do this?
That there is a much more closely connected version of FTX International and Alameda than previously understood. Fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, given the size of the position, I think it was, if not in intention, it was in effect tied together substantially more than I would have ever wanted it to be.
I think Jeremy Hogan was playing the piano in the background, and that's okay. We have background noise here too. Here's another one. This one's just uncomfortable.
What are your lawyers telling you right now? Are they suggesting this is a good idea for you to be speaking?
No, they are very much not.
Wow. What in the world is going on? And then right here, here's a quote from something he said, and this is important because he says, I clearly didn't do a good job on that. I did not intend to commit. So his parent, mommy and daddy, have told him, make sure that you make it clear that you had no intent to commit fraud, because I think that, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm assuming that's part of what they've got to prove, is that he had intent to commit fraud, not just that he committed it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that whoever advised this guy to do this interview is a complete and utter moron. Thanks.